He's out of Greensboro, North Carolina, part of that outstanding recruiting class, top 10 recruiting class brought in by Mark Turgeon. It's the highest rated he has had in Maryland. And he told you before the game he likes the way a lot of them are living up to that billing.
Not only living up to the billing, he told me, he said some of them are better than he thought. That's a double-edged sword, though. You get all this credit for a recruiting class. If the guys don't produce, then they think you can't coach.
So far, an 8-2 start for the Terps. And Loyola, Maryland coming in at 4-6. Maryland with their first touch.
And Loyola opens in a man-to-man defense. They have struggled at times on the defensive end.
Smith will let fly. Too strong with that one, but they tear down the rebound. Wiggins got it back inside to Sticks, which is a very appropriate nickname for the 6'10 freshman from Baltimore.
Well, it applies to those legs that are really skinny, but up top, he's pretty big. And I think because up top he's pretty big, as you get a look at the free throw line, Maryland needs to take the ball inside. They have certainly an advantage on the interior against the Greyhounds, and you don't want to settle for perimeter shots. Take the ball inside.
Mark Turgeon now in his 8th year, looking to pick up his 9th win of the season here tonight. Smith with his 2nd one coming. That's an area he's working on, his foul shooting. Just 58% coming into play tonight, but hits the first 2. Greyhounds at 4-6 tonight, making the trip down I-95 to face the Terps. They have been shooting the ball very well lately.
They have been, but not against size such as Maryland possesses.
Hart looking to launch a 3 and will knock that down. It is not an area that either team necessarily excels in, but you think of the Greyhounds tonight, what they're up against, they have to hit a lot of those.
Well, when you're a team like Loyola of Baltimore and you're trying to beat Maryland, you have to be able to make three-point baskets. That is the great equalizer.
Found right down the lane and left hand left it short.
Well, you don't often see him do that. He is as good going to the basket as anybody.
Tavares Hardy, head coach for the Greyhounds, his first year. He was a pretty fair player in his own right. He has Big Ten connections. In fact, he was all Big Ten as a player at Northwestern. Later, he was an assistant there.
Played for Bill Carmody and coached under Bill Carmody.
Holcomb with a 3 off target. Cowan Jr. coming in averaging 16 points, but also 4 rebounds and 4 assists per game. He can get to the glass, too. Bruno will knock that one down. A sweet spinning shot.
I don't think there's any way Loyola can guard Fernando on the inside. And that's not to denigrate Loyola's players. Fernando is just too big and too strong in there.
Bruno Fernando, yep, 6'10 from Angola. That's nicely done. On the baseline by Holcomb.
That was really a nice move, and it was the only move he had because Fernando was right there. Holcomb not noted for his play inside, more of an outside kind of guy.
His father is the director of security for the Miami Heat. Here's Ayala attacking quickly to the rack, follows his own miss. No. And now Holcomb coming out of there trying to lead the break. This is Chuck Champion, a 6'3 junior. Not a lot of size for the Greyhounds. And swatted out of the sky as Smith got up there to reject it.
And Fernando's not the only guy in there who can block shots. And I think this Loyola needs to take some opportunities to play a little bit in transition. This is very early in the offense, but Smith is standing there waiting for him.
Now the Greyhounds may be wise to stay outside tonight. If they can find a couple of guys to knock down those threes. Scott off the front of the iron.
Scott comes in shooting 2 out of 3 from beyond the arc, so that is not his spot.
Smith all the way through for 2. Nobody picked him up.
We mentioned Holcomb is a pretty good outside shooter, but he's not a very strong defender. And I think Maryland can pretty much drive the ball to the basket at will tonight.
With a pull-up pop. And Smith with the rebound. He's getting 7 of those per game, the freshman. Off the fake. Cowan Jr. will kick out. Wiggins can't bury that from three-point land.
Nice job blocking out so far by the Greyhounds, and that's something they're going to really have to do well.
Now they compete in the Patriot League along with schools like Colgate, Navy, Lehigh. Oh, another rejection. Upward Fernando. You touched on in the open. He's one of the best in the country.
He's number 3 in the country, tops in the Big Ten, and I just don't think you're going to be able to drive the ball all the way to the basket. You draw the defense, kick it out.
Yeah, at some point, it'll be a deterrent. Not quite yet. Kosteka is so far pretty quiet. Addition of the lane and taken away by Fernando. Went for the save, and he did. Boy, is that an athletic play. Count over the top. Smith, and foul before the shot. Be no basket as he draws the foul with 16-17 to go here in the first half.
Well, James Fives is in the game, and he's trying to guard Smith, and Smith at 6'10" and very long arms, and Fives at 6'6". That's just a mismatch.
Fives, who wears that number 5. Pretty good three-point man. Ayala powering his way on the baseline for the reverse and 2.
And once again, what do we see, Dave? That dribble penetration, and there's Loyola does not have shot blockers, and Maryland's guys are bigger at every position. I think they can get to the basket just about any time they want to.
Loyola, Maryland, a Baltimore Jesuit school, about 4,000 students. They're expecting about 150 of their fans here tonight. Scott harassed in the lane once again by Fernando.
He won't get credit for a block on that, but he should.
He gets a touch and squares up to shoot, but can't hit that. And quickly out in front, here's Hart, the point guard. In transition, Champion. That clangs away. They'll get a second effort.
Those are the kind of shots that have to go, and go pretty consistently. A wide open 3 in transition.
Yeah, right, and a lot of them, you would think. If they're going to hang around tonight, 8-5 Maryland. Shot clock down to 14. Champion, their number 2 scorer with it now. Here's the number 1 scorer, Kosteka. Shot clock at 4. And thrown away by the Greyhounds.
Look at this.
Smith leads. Draws the foul, and very nearly a chance for a three-point play. Is that entertaining?
Look at that.
Now the big guy Smith at 6'10", the freshman, leading the charge.
Are so excited about Jalen Smith. He can just do so many things. Just swats that one out, and he's tough to get by. Here he drives the ball to the basket, so he's very good putting the ball on the deck. Here's the steal, and he handles the ball well enough that this ball nearly goes in the basket. He goes up through contact and almost makes it, but that's just scary talented, I think.
It sure is. Isaiah Hart with a foul to put him at the line. Comes in averaging 13 and 7. Two-time Maryland Gatorade Player of the Year in high school in Baltimore, and a McDonald's All-American debut.
I just think that as he and Fernando get comfortable playing together, and that takes a while when you have 2 big guys basically trying to occupy a similar space on the floor. But I think as they get comfortable playing together, they're going to be really a formidable combination.
Sorrell Smith with the foul. It's interesting you use that phrase, get comfortable. I mean, the rest of the Big Ten is going to be very uncomfortable when they get real comfortable with each other.
Mark Turgeon going to his bench early.
On the spin, Holcomb denied that time by Smith, draped all over him. And that's going to be a violation, 5 seconds.
Of course, there's no more 5 seconds when you're dribbling, but if you're holding the ball, you can get a 5-second violation. But really good defense by Maryland, cutting off all the other avenues. And Holcomb, we said, he's not a guy who drives it to the basket or scores with his back to the basket, and he's just stuck there. Again, who is that? It's Smith.
Yeah, one-man trap. Wiggins swings here for Cowan Jr., averaging 16 coming in. Intended for Smith. Good defense there by Holcomb to snatch it.
Really nice anticipation by Holcomb. You can see that play developing. He took it away.
He looks like a fine player with a lot of different skills. Fives from the corner, but no.
Fives is one of the better three-point shooters for the Greyhounds. And again, they're going to have to make some of those shots.
On the drive. That's a beautiful drive, but in and out by Cowan Jr. And it'll stay on this end for the Terps.
Boy, Cowan has missed a couple of those, and you don't see him miss those very often, even in traffic when he gets knocked around.
Recently got to the 1,000-point level. Preseason All Big Ten. Wiggins gives it up. Now he's open beyond the 3. He'll take a 2-pointer. Rebound tipped by Smith. He'll control it. Back up strong. No foul on that play.
Looks like Gulliver and his travels in there.
So far, Kostecka, the star for the Greyhounds, has been silenced by Maryland. Holcomb with the stop. Again, Smith right there with him.
Kostecka's problem is he's been matched up against quicker guys, and then when the quicker guy goes off of him, then it's a bigger guy. It's just hard for him to get his shot off.
He's not taking a shot yet. And he'll give it up here with 13:21 to go on the foul.
And this is a point of emphasis this year for officials, is the moving screens. Fives hands the ball off and just keeps going. In football, that's called a block. In basketball, it's called an illegal screen. You have to be stationary.
So 13:21 to go here in the first half. Maryland with the 9-5 lead and the basketball. Bruno again inside. That's just going to be too tough to stop.
I don't think they can stop him in there. And that's why he's one of the leading field goal percentage shooters in the country. He shoots the ball from there more often than not.
Another whistle. Bruno Fernando, 73%, came into the night having made 49 out of 67 shots.
And he was actually 3 of 7 against Purdue, which was a disaster for him in terms of his field goal percentage.
He attended the NBA pre-draft camp, but decided to return to school. He is only a sophomore from Angola.
And this Loyola offense is based on movement of players, movement of the ball. Maryland doing a nice job so far chasing him. Nice pass.
Scott rolling to the basket. That's going to roll in for him. Nice touch there. He makes 67%.
He's the guy that scores close to the basket. It'll be a little harder tonight going against Smith and Fernando, but if they can get movement like that, both of the offensive teammates and the ball, they're going to be tough. Now they drop into a little bit of a zone, and that's how you break that zone.
Yep, Smith knocking it down, the freshman from St. Petersburg, Florida.
And Smith is a guy that the Maryland coaching staff would really like to get some more minutes. They think he can really help them as Big Ten play gets going.
Hart can't penetrate. Champion went between the legs, and he lost it. Lost it right to Ayala. Smith with a crossover.
I don't think he was throwing that to Fernando.
Cowan Jr. winds up it in the corner, and he buries a three.
Now, that's not the best part of his game. He can make threes, shooting under 30% so far this year. He makes big threes, but if you give him that much time, he's going to make a very high percentage.
Jumper by Champion for a three-pointer, so an answer, the junior from Philadelphia.
The question for Loyola is, can they stop Maryland consistently down on this end?
Down with a blow by good defense from behind there by Hart to block it. 11.5 minutes to go here in the first half. And Cowan Jr. and the Terps on top by 7.
Those categories, the minutes played, that's minutes per game, obviously, where he's second, but in total minutes, if you don't break it down to an average, he leads the Big Ten. So he's out on the court all the time for Maryland. They rely on him heavily.
Now, all Big Ten defensive selection last year, so both ends of the court. He'll bounce here for Fernando, in tight, no.
Wow.
He certainly got the shot that he wanted, and racing up the other end, the Greyhounds will quickly give it back.
And DeVaris Hardy not upset that they're running up the court, but they need to be a little bit more under control. This is one that Fernando normally dunks. That's a break for the Greyhounds. And see, when they get a break like that, they need to take it up and convert.
Lindo off target there. Yep. So far, Loyola has turned it over 6 times already, and you've made the point that that's going to be their death knell if that keeps up.
Maryland plays so well, led by Cowan in transition, that you simply can't turn the ball over. You can't do what Tom Izzo refers to as turnovers for touchdowns.
Champion with a jumper. Yes, he'll knock that down. He's hit a couple here early.
And he takes a lot of three-point shots, but I think Champion is a little bit better in the mid-range. And so, again, if they continue to move players and move the ball, they'll get some opportunities.
Fernando trying to pull his way inside, but draws the foul before the shot. 10.5 to go in the first half. Terps took their Big Ten opener 66-59 over Penn State. Of course, lost that tough one against Purdue as you look at the early turnovers here. In a game that, you know, against Purdue in a very tough environment, if they had hit a couple of shots, Dan, they have a very good chance to win that game.
Well, there's no question, but there's not going to be a lot of teams that go into Purdue and win.
Smith with a jumper.
And that's the shot I think that Smith needs to really develop and perfect, because that will enable he and Fernando to be on the court at the same time and be really efficient.
Andrews getting his own shot, but that didn't touch anything, and out it goes. Jalen Andrews, just a freshman.
And he's being defended out there by Aaron Wiggins, and Wiggins at 6'6" and long arms. It's hard to shoot the ball over a guy like that who's in good defensive position.
That's one of the things that really jumps out at you about Maryland when you see them, particularly in person, is how long they are at so many different positions on the court.
And they obviously spend a lot of time in the weight room. Except Smith, he does no work on his legs.
Ayala way downtown with bury a three.
Boy, Ayala played so well in that loss against Virginia, one of the top teams in the country. And then he struggled a little bit at Purdue, but that's not surprising with a freshman for the first time in an environment like that.
A foul in the act of shooting a three here as Champion got hit on the arm. So that's going to be 3 shots upcoming. 9.5 minutes to go.
9.5 minutes. That's actually the first foul on Maryland.
First foul. They're calling that a 2-point attempt, so he'll be shooting 2. And so Champion at the line. And we'll have another one coming. And later tonight, when the action ends, the Big Show takes over. Highlights from around the conference, post-game reaction, straight from the arena. In-depth analysis as well. The Big Show tonight at 11 Eastern right here on BTN. And Champion missing the second one.
It's, you know, Dave, it's only a 7-point game. Just sitting here watching it, and if you hadn't looked at the scoreboard, all you think Maryland was up by more than that. Nice job by Loyola to hang in there. Oh, good heavens. Poor Sam Norton is 6'2".
On 6'10", Smith with the shot. Yes, all net from 3.
And that's what happens. Norton is actually one of the forward subs, and if he's got to match up against Jalen Smith, somebody has to come and help, which means one of the Terps is going to be open.
Nice pass. Smith, yeah, 3-pointer, and he has 6 points.
Well, that's really good defense by Maryland. Wiggins helping out.
All right, lost the handle. Norton got it back. Stecca, and he'll knock it in from 3.
That's his first shot attempt, I think, Dave.
Yep.
They've just been smothering him defensively.
And again, averaging 24 points a game his last 5. This one went for the slam. And a whistle on the play with 8:28 to go and a foul.
You know, I think if he just lays that in, they don't call the foul. But since he tried to dunk it and he missed, just to reach in like that, you know, any contact that creates an advantage. And he did get hit on the hand. There's no question about that. Contact that gives one player an advantage over another is supposed to be a foul, and so that was actually a really good call. But again, if he lays it in, I think they ignore it.
2 on Ayala. Stecca, very, very good foul shooter at 85%. And of course misses the first one. So there's your jinx for the night.
Well, now, here's an issue that you wonder how Mark Turgeon deals with. Everybody talks about how Cowan plays too many minutes. And so he takes him out of the game. He's trying to play him fewer minutes in a game like this. But what happens, Ayala gets in foul trouble, so Cowan has to come in and play.
And out there right now, he missed the pair. So he's having some difficulty getting involved in the offense, and a couple of freebies roll off the iron. On the bounce, Fernando. And quickly, Hart reaching in. He'll commit the foul as he went for the double team.
That's a break for Fernando right there. Hart just a little bit late. When a big guy gets the ball inside, you want to drop down and try to take it from him while he's dribbling. So Fernando, a little too much dribbling that time. You need to hold the ball, wait for the double team, and find the open man.
Hart with his second personal heads to the bench. Smith off the inbounds. He's hit a couple of shots here. Looking for another one. He's the hot man right now.
He played really well in Baltimore against the other Loyola Chicago. You know, Maryland, they played Loyola Chicago. That was their last game. They need to schedule their next game against Loyola Marymount and do the Loyola trifecta.
Right. Be 2/3 of the way there tonight. Holcomb trying to get in close, and he'll travel with it. So 7:43 to go. Smith is really heating up. Sorrell Smith has come off the bench, and he's hit 3 shots. He has 8 points in the first half.
Sorrell Smith is one of the Maryland freshmen. We haven't talked about him, but he's a young man who's come off the bench. He's knocked down 2 3-point baskets, also hit a 2. This is a guy that they really think can be very good for Maryland and very good for Maryland this year. He just needs to play with a little more confidence, and it appears that he's earned his coach's trust in practice. And now if he can just get the game to slow down for him a little bit, and obviously it has tonight.
Probably his mom, Tamika, has had a couple of conversations with him. She holds the University of Central Florida career scoring and rebounding records. So a lot of talent in the family.
It's not a question of talent for Smith. The hardest thing to do is learn how to relax, to continue to play hard, but to be relaxed.
Sure, especially at this level.
Yes.
First year in as a freshman. Kostecka back to Scott. Norton trying to get off a shot. Shot clock down to 11. Holcomb gets his and sticks it.
And that's what Holcomb does. He is an outside shooter. A really good job right there to fake Smith out of the picture and then be able to knock down the shot off the dribble.
And he can be dangerous. He had 18 points against Navy. 25-18. Here's Wiggins. Yes.
Wow. You know, Loyola's got no chance if Maryland's going to play Fernando inside and to make threes. How do you guard him?
Wiggins has been hitting 41%. Mark Turgeon says
Nice
he
play.
can get his shot anywhere he wants it. And inside for the star Kostecka.
And then that spread court, the movement of players and the ball results in the easy backdoor play.
Loyola with the foul. We go back to the Wiggins triple.
Fernando has the ball on the outside, and as he passes it and starts to the basket, they just get trapped in Fernando and allow Wiggins to have the wide open shot. Now, since Tavares Hardy played at Northwestern and coached with Bill Carmood, everybody's going to say, well, that's the Princeton offense. And a backdoor cut certainly is part of it, but actually, with the advent of the three-point shot, the Princeton offense became based on shooting the three. You get player movement, you cause the defense to collapse, and you shoot threes. And unfortunately for Hardy, his team just is not a very good three-point shooting team yet.
That's a great point. I'm pretty sure Dr. Naismith came up with the backdoor cut.
Yeah.
That it started pretty darn early in this game. Cowan at the line sinks that, and it's a 10-point game for the Terps.
But Pete Carrill's Princeton teams, if you looked at the percentage of their offense, more than 50%, sometimes close to 60%, came from beyond the three-point arc.
Holcomb, he'll try a three. Got a great look at it. Fernando way up there for the rebound. Maryland's been a great rebounding team. Cowan again missing on an attempted lay-in, and
I think Holcomb actually got a piece of that.
I think you're right. He got a fingertip on it. He's open for another long-distance shot, but he'll drive it instead and travels.
When he is open for a shot, he's got to shoot it. And that time, I think he was just a little intimidated by the fact that Jalen Smith was close, and so he tried that little pump fake again because he doesn't want to get his shot blocked.
Yeah, recalling a couple of those early rejections in the opening minutes.
Right, you mentioned Smith, not only 6'10", but he's got those very long arms. And if he's going to defend you out on the perimeter, then that's going to be a problem to shoot over him. And one of the things that Smith has struggled with is maybe defending smaller guys out on the perimeter who are able to drive past him, but Holcomb can't do that.
His college career, talking about Jalen Smith, got off to a great start. Here's a triple from him. And 19 points, 13 rebounds in his collegiate debut. Jones pops it up there and knocks it a two.
I am really impressed with the way Loyola is hanging in here.
Only down by 8 with about 5.5 to go in the first half.
And in a half where Maryland has made some three-point baskets.
Fernando to his right, yes.
They have no defense for that.
I think that's going to be said of a lot of Maryland opponents this year. Boy, is that a tough angle by Kostecka. And now numbers for the Terps. Pass swung inside and batted out of play by Jones, who recovered quickly.
That's Reese Mona in the game for Maryland, and Mark Turgeon told me this afternoon that he was going to play Mona a little bit because he's such a hard worker and a good defender, and he thought he could really help the Terrapins in a game like this, particularly with Ayala on the bench with 2 fouls.
The walk-on from the corner. Smith. Oh, yes. Boy, if he's going to do that all night. Three-pointer to make it 35-22. Is that impressive at his size? This is the biggest lead tonight for Maryland.
Kostecka just can't get any worse.
A slam to answer by Kavon Scott. The 6'8" junior, he got up.
He did, and not only did he get up, but he slammed it over both Fernando and Jalen Smith.
Cowan Jr. and a high look now into the corner. Wiggins. He'll drive it. Dipsy-do. Went for the spin, but no.
I didn't think Fernando did a very good job going to the offensive boards that time. He drew the drive, drew 3 defenders, and yet they were able to get the defensive rebound.
Coming up on the 4-minute mark here in the first half. Jones and banks it in. Little teardrop there.
Jones, a couple of baskets here, and that, you know, he saw the defense in there, and he knew it was one of the big guys. I don't know that I've ever seen anybody loft it up that high with their offhand.
Yes. Freshman from Hillside, New Jersey. And they do get it inside for Reese Mona, and the crowd loves that.
Well, that's not exactly the inside game I was thinking about, but that'll work.
Yep. He's getting some minutes here early on, 37-26. And a foul, and this one will go against Loyola.
And who's in the middle of that? It's Reese Mona. Coming into the game, he's played a total of 18 minutes in 5 games. And Kavon Scott, this is somebody, you know, if you're going to go against these 2 guys, you got to go as hard as you can. And Scott certainly does. A strong inside player. Loyola hanging around.
Going away, only down 37-26.
And it's amazing because Loyola is still in the game despite the fact that they've turned it over 10 times. And Maryland is actually 6 of 10 from beyond the arc.
And Kostecka with the theft. They're playing very good defense. He drives in, can't connect though. He thought he had a foul on the play.
That was really a nice job by Lindo getting back and helping out.
Smith with the fire up. He got it. Jalen Smith again. And he's got 10. 39-26. Norton sealed off. Here's champion. Shot clock down to 12. Jones has been very good beyond the 3-point line, but now the shot clock down to 4. Trying to slither inside. Scott got it up there, and he hit it in heavy traffic.
How did he put that in the basket? Lindo was there. I think Lindo may have turned his ankle, and Jalen Smith was in great position. But Scott catches the ball well inside, and he's very strong around the basket.
Jr. trying to penetrate, jumping in, but he lost it. And gives it up to the Greyhounds. They're trying to get a little bit closer now before halftime.
Anthony Cowan Jr. can be a little loose with the ball every once in a while.
He's had kind of a frustrating first half. Norton from the corner. Got an excellent opportunity there. Wiggins got the start. Clangs that one off, but Smith going up strong will draw the foul. Hit by Scott. He'll be at the line. So he'll be shooting 2 with 1:50 left in the half. Trying to add to his 10 points. Scott picking up another foul.
Dave, I'm actually really impressed with the way Loyola has been able to defend Maryland's drives to the basket. Watching Loyola play on tape, I thought that they were a little weak with their ability to defend the penetration, but that hasn't been so tonight. They've done an excellent job making it very difficult for Maryland once they get in that lane.
Smith shooting 2, and stick around for the State Farm halftime report. Dave Revson and Sean Morris will break down the first half. Look ahead to the Minnesota and North Florida matchup later tonight on BTN. That's coming up in the State Farm halftime report.
And Kevon Scott, with those 2 fouls, goes to the bench for the last 150. Ochiaka in the game for the first time. And this is a young man who they think can be a really good player for Loyola, but he just hadn't played very much so far this year.
Kostecka looking in. Minute 37 to go in the first half as Kostecka retrieves that. Averaging 20 points a game. Way downtown Jones. He's been their best percentage-wise, hitting 44% outside the three-point line.
That was a long one, though.
That sure was. Maybe just a couple of feet out of his range. Mona swings it up top here for Wiggins. Shot clock at 7. Wiggins with a turnaround, and not there for him.
One of the things you've got to do to be a really good college basketball team is you have to be comfortable playing at the end of the shot clock. And Maryland looked a little rushed right there.
Champion off the back of the iron. Another opportunity now for the Terps. And the Terp punter, well, in by Smith, who's had a really nice first half.
That was just a really nice job. The fake to step around the defender with that one dribble and make a tough shot.
Terrell Smith with 10 in the first half.
Nice little spurt by Maryland at the end of the half.
Now on top, 43-28. Here's Kostecka. Difficult first half for the Greyhound star. So last opportunity, last seconds of the first half, and a timeout. Mark Turgeon and Maryland. Now we take a look at this message from ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire, and the efficient drop of play last 13 seconds of the half.
Got to be very pleased with the way his guys have performed here in the last couple of possessions. That's what you want to see at the end of the half. See if you can get a spurt, stretch out the lead, and that's exactly what the Terps have done.
Cal with 5 to get off a shot. Here's Wiggins from the corner, and a three-pointer. So they ran that to perfection. Certainly the way it finished up, 46-28.
Really a nice spurt at the end of the half. Maryland on a 7-0 run. And what a nice job by Cowan. The defense thinks he's going to shoot the ball. He draws everybody. Really nice play. And Wiggins, we mentioned, a really good three-point shooter.
Well, stick around for the State Farm halftime report with Dave and Sean. That's coming up in just a moment. Greyhounds hung around for a while, but in the end, Maryland a little too much talent-wise. That 7-0 run has them up 46-28. 20 minutes on a surge to get their fans all hyped up here in the building. A lot of the students are facing exams tomorrow. So blowing off a little bit of steam before that. We're getting down to some serious business in the classroom. The Greyhounds open up with the basketball here in the second half.
The Maryland defense has been pretty solid all night long. They went on that spurt because they made 7 of their last 12 shots.
Andrew Kostecka had a cold first half and starts that way in the second half. They really need him to be on fire, averaging 24 points his last 5 games.
He had very few open looks in the first half. Maryland really did a nice job completely stifling him. But again, Maryland has size and quickness, and it's just very hard for Kostecka to get a shot. So much young talent. Fernando fouled from behind with 19:25 to go in this one as the Terps try to improve their record to 9-2 in their 100th season of college basketball. That's foul number 3 on Scott, so he's the man certainly in trouble for Loyola. And Bruno Fernando at the line. 6'10" sophomore from Angola. Does play on the Angolan senior national team as well. He actually is a guy who goes to the line a lot, Dave. And when you have your big guy who's going to get fouled a lot, if he can go to the line and make him, that's a huge advantage.
Second effort here. Wiggins makes sure of that. Here's Smith with a long distance shot. And caught by Wiggins. He lays it in.
He's going to say that was a pass.
They've been airmail, but it makes it 49-28 on the follow by Wiggins.
Well, what are you supposed to do if you're Loyola? If that ball hits the rim, they get the rebound.
Boy, he's shown some nice ability offensively.
That's really the first time he's squeezed the trigger immediately.
Knocking down the three, give him 7 points. 49-31, Maryland.
So these guys, they're going to have to up their game if they're going to keep up with Mark.
Yeah, gonna have to find out what the coach has in store.
And the other thing with Mark is that little gray spot on his head is sort of growing. So,
well, we all have that affliction.
Yes, absolutely.
Boy, Fernando in close where he loves to do it, about 72%, but not that time. Holcomb going for the save. And saved it right back over to Maryland, and here come the Terps. Cowan, quick look, and sticks with the stuff. Jalen Sticks Smith with an easy two.
How do you lose a guy like that?
McDonald's All-American out of Mount St. Joseph, son of a retired naval officer. His dreams of playing in the NBA.
A very small lineup in the game for Loyola, and Bruno Fernando picks up a cheap one.
And last one, the pass of the game so far.
Well, Cowan, of our State Farm assist of the game, he is able to find the open man underneath the basket. And Cowan is so good in transition, and somehow they just lose Jalen Smith. I don't know how you lose him.
Yeah, 13.7 rebounds a game and 6'10".
He's rather conspicuous.
Yes. Holcomb, the shot clock down to 7. Took a tumble to the seat of his pants. Shot clock at 4. And that's going to be a traveling violation on the Greyhounds.
Talked about the Maryland defense, and it has been pretty solid tonight. Just the wheels have sort of come off for Tavares Hardy and his guys at the moment. They hung in there for a little while, but Maryland just too big, too talented.
Smith looking inside. He'll shoot the jumper instead, and the 18-footer on target.
See, that's the play you can't defend. If you're going to drop in and defend Bruno Fernando, and he's going to make that outside jump shot, Maryland really becomes almost impossible to guard.
That makes them so dangerous. Holcomb, that clangs away. It was interesting that Tavares Hardy asked for a timeout, got a timeout 1 minute into the second half. There's something he didn't like. Here's Smith again, too strong that time.
Fernando
going to be on the line there, and a turnover. That'll be back to Maryland.
And Wiggins wishes it weren't a turnover because. But when Bruno Fernando can get set up inside, he sets the screen, rolls down. You notice Sam Norton plays way off, trying to stay in front of Bruno Fernando, and Jalen Smith makes him pay for it.
Ayala powering his way in, 2 points.
And I think that's a good description of Ayala. He's got a very powerful build, has the ability to get the ball to the basket.
Strong guard at 6'5", at a 20-point game against Marshall. Off the fake, laid in by Champion.
Really nice job by Champion. He knew the defender was right behind him. Gave a fake, went to the other side of the rim to protect it from the block.
He has 8, 55-33, the Terps. Wiggins with a 3. Fernando denied inside.
Missed it again. You're just not used to seeing him miss shots inside.
Nope. Miss anything the way he's been shooting it. One of the highest shooting percentages anywhere in America. On the baseline, very difficult drive there by Hart.
Loyola is a team that if they're going to be at most effective offensively, they have to move. They have to move the ball. The players have to move without the ball. And when your defense can force a team that's based on movement to dribble, then that's a big advantage for your defense.
Foul went on Aaron Wiggins, and Maryland is first.
Now, Loyola wants to pass the ball. Maryland wants to make them dribble.
Champion. Nice give here for Scott. Guess who? Smith came over to defend. Cowan back for Wiggins. In and out. And another whistle. 15:57 to go. On the foul, Maryland dominating at the moment, 55-33 here at College Park. The Terps have opened it up 55-33 against Loyola.
And Dave, let's take a look at tonight's Bass Pro Shops in the net. Take a look at it from the net. You're in the net. Scott is trying to put the ball in the net, and Jalen Smith with his second blocked shot of the night. Smith has done just about everything you can ask a player to do tonight. That was blocked shot, good timing. And the best thing about that, Dave, is he didn't swat it out of bounds. He knocked it off the board. Maryland gets it and runs down to the other end.
Remember, it was a great talent of Bill Russell's, you know, one of the premier shot blockers in the history of the game, keeping it in play on the block shot.
Well, in effect, that results in a turnover. You get an extra possession. If you swat it out of bounds, your opponent keeps possession.
So the Terps looking to add to this advantage. The handoff for Wiggins. Finding a man inside. It kept on top of the iron. The shot by Lindo just would not go.
Lindo was a little bit off balance as he caught the Norton at 6'2". We mentioned he must wonder what in the world he has done wrong, because earlier in the game he's trying to guard Smith at 6'10", and now there's Lindo at 6'8".
Foul went on Cowan. 15:42 left in the contest here at College Park.
And Sam Norton does not seem to be a guy who discourages easily. He sticks his nose in there and keeps going.
Yeah, he's a former walk-on who earned a scholarship prior to the season. Excellent passer. He's a senior. Once again, Smith out on Norton. Shot clock down to 13. Kostecka out of the lane, trying to flip it over the shoulder. Draws a foul before that with 15:28 to go. So he's the star of the Greyhounds, and that'll be foul number 2 on Wiggins.
He drives into the lane. Maryland defends it very well, and he gets the shot off, and he gets fouled, which is fortunate because Smith was standing right there and had swatted it back away.
Kostecka, 85%. And next on BTN, the doubleheader continues as the Gophers square off of North Florida. Action tipping off right here on BTN and the Fox Sports app. Kostecka coming from an excellent basketball family. His grandfather is in the Georgetown Hall of Fame. He was an outstanding player. Cowan, a little bit of contact, no whistle. Cowan trying to drive it. Will shoot it off the window, and it'll drop in.
It's one of those situations everybody helps and they're trying to get back to their man, and you leave the guy with the ball all alone.
Yep, found himself wide open for the mid-range shot. Champion. His Hart for a 3. He sticks it.
Coming in, he was only 3 of 12 from beyond the arc, but he's knocked down a couple of them tonight. That's really going to help the Greyhounds if he can make baskets like that.
He was only shooting about 37% on all shots coming in. Cowan Jr. again slamming on the brakes and a foul.
Everybody did not run away from him that time.
Yes, they
learned their lesson before. But Cowan takes the ball to the basket. Watch, 3 defenders are all around, and everybody leaves. And because everybody leaves, it gives them just enough room before they recover to score the basket. Cowan can hurt you in so many ways.
So the junior knocks in the first one. 81%.
He's actually struggled with his shooting tonight. He made his 1 3-point basket, but he has missed with those drives to the bucket. That was his first 2 that we just showed the replay.
An outstanding passer. He had a 10-assist game against Minnesota last year. And averaging about 4 per game. He has 9 points, 5 assists tonight. Kostecka thought about it. He'll drive it. Lost the handle, but knocked out of his hands.
And I think what you see happening out there is Kostecka had the ball, but the offense is just a little out of kilter because I think the Maryland defense has made it so. So when he caught it, he was not ready to shoot it right away.
We've talked about the Terps defense all night long. being a major factor in this one.
Well, you don't need to get steals and block shots to be an effective defensive team. You just throw the other team a little bit out of whack, and I think that's what we've seen tonight.
Norton got an excellent look, and he knocks in a three-pointer.
Well, you just got to tip your hat to Norton. He goes out there and just plays hard. As we mentioned, he's a pretty good three-point shooter coming in. That was his first one tonight.
Down pulls up and can't sink it. Yeah, just a little bit off this evening offensively. Although the Terps still lead by a healthy margin, 59-41. Kostecka back out for Norton. Pretty good looking fake there, but can't hit it.
It's a pretty good looking fake, but again, he's just a little bit off. He's drifting. It was the defense that forced him to hurry.
Fernando. Bumping and grinding inside, and a foul on the play. They're trying to do everything they can to shut down the big guy, but had a very strong first half.
Fernando is much better when he catches the ball at the basket and can make a move. If he's got to dribble a couple of times, I think that reduces his efficiency on the inside. He was able to get to the goal and get fouled, but I think he's at best when he can catch it and shoot it inside, or catch it and take one power dribble and get it to the basket.
Bruno, one of 8 children, 4 brothers and 3 sisters. Which means he rarely saw the bathroom. 13 to go. And another one on the way for the big fella, the 6'10 sophomore.
He plays with tremendous energy and enthusiasm.
Yeah, you can see him becoming a really, really popular player here. Champion with a short jumper, knocks it in. So 61-43, the Terps. Fernando into the lane and trying to swing the pass inside and out of play.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. If you can force Fernando to catch the ball a couple dribbles outside the lane and you force him to make a play, I'm not sure that he's as effective from there if he can catch the ball closer to the lane. He really surprised Lindo.
Yes, he did.
6'8" guy doesn't expect to catch the ball at his knees next to the basket.
No. Kostecka. Yes. See if he gets into a little bit of a groove now. Certainly came in the hot hand. He had 30 against Towson, 29 against Mount St. Mary's. He had 31 against Drexel.
Well, he set his own career high 3 games in a row.
He did. Smith jumping to the lane. That one slapped away by Kostecka. So the Greyhounds locking down on defense a bit. Kostecka from the corner. Yes, and a three-pointer.
Now you figure they're going to give Norton an assist on that because Maryland knocked the ball away from him and it went right to Kostecka. And Mark Turgeon is not very happy right at the moment.
Nope, going to get a timeout here with 11:53 to go. And Loyola on a bit of a run here. A 7-0 run to close the gap.
Because they're doing a better job defensively and because Andrew Kostecka has finally gotten going. He had 2 points in the first half. He's got 10 here in the second half. And the defense has been pretty solid. They've cut off that Maryland penetration. They forced Fernando into a couple of tough passes. And as we said, Kostecka's knocked down a couple of threes in this half. In fact, in the first half, Loyola shot 43%, turned it over 9 times. In the second half, they're shooting 58% with only 1 turnover, and they've already knocked down 4 threes.
Last couple of games coming in, they have shot it particularly well. Off the fake Lindo and lost it. Now trying to get it back, but the Greyhounds retrieve it.
And once again, you see Sam Norton, who's guarding Lindo, drops down inside and gets in front of Bruno Fernando and forces Lindo to try to make a play, and he fumbles it away.
With 3 here, even a 2, starts to make it really interesting. Champion had that in mind with a triple. And that cuts it to 10, Dan.
Obviously, he had the same idea as you did, Dave.
61-51. It's a 10-0 run for the Greyhounds. Well, you thought Mark Turgeon wasn't happy before the timeout. Brown Jr. lost it and now reach in foul. Let's go back to the 3 moments ago.
Well, again, that's the 5th three-point basket that they've made. They come in 4 for 4, just a little bit of a screen. Fernando doesn't get out on the shooter quickly enough. Champion very pleased with it. He's got the 3. This is a Maryland team that was up by 24, Dave, 6 minutes ago.
10-point game. Allen in the lane, slapped away. And that's Kostecka again.
And how many times have we seen that in the second half? Maryland driving the ball to the basket, but the penetration is defended. And Kostecka is able to come from behind because Ayala had to slow down because who's standing there waiting for him? The formidable Sam Norton.
Straight on. Cowan with a triple. Now, this is not his strength, as you mentioned. He was only hitting 29%. That's one they really needed.
Right, but that's when he makes his threes. He makes big shots.
Looking for an answer now. Kostecka off the fingertips and out of play as he went to the basket. So 10:32 to go, 64-51 Maryland.
Boy, there wasn't much room there. You know, you talk about people talking about quarterbacks trying to fit it in a tight window. Well, that's what Norton did. That was an impossible pass, and it didn't work.
So we're about to find out if the Greyhounds have had their best run tonight. Ayala open for 3. Can't cash in, though. Champion. Yeah, he's starting to feel it. There's another 3-pointer. Well, he's got 16 down.
He's made a couple big baskets here in the last couple of possessions.
He has 10 points in the second half. Over the top, Fernando, but he put it to the deck. He almost gave it away.
Well, all 5 guys collapsed on him. He's got to pass the ball to the open man.
Here's Wiggins from the corner. Got it, a 3-pointer.
That was great ball movement by Maryland. But more than Fernando just passing it to the open guy, the guys who are out there open need to get in position where he can see him and pass him the ball. Good ball movement by Maryland.
Kostecka to his left. Off the window, no. Cowan Jr. penetrating, tiptoeing through the lane, and a whistle before the dunk. 9:17 remaining. Let's go back to that ball movement you were talking about.
The ball is going to go inside to Fernando. And watch the 5. Wow, this is after that play. The 5 green shirts collapse around him, but they get the ball back out and just good, quick movement. And Wiggins has been so effective from beyond the arc tonight.
Norton with the foul that put Cowan Jr. to the line. Mark Turgeon says, we ask Anthony to do an awful lot. And shows up all over the stat sheet for the season. He'll have another one coming.
It's just what we've been talking about with Cowan. He struggled for the most part offensively, but here, when Loyola closes the gap and they need him to make some plays, he makes some plays.
Well, the junior guard, true leader on a very, very young team. Very talented team, but quite young. And they open up a 69-54 lead again.
You don't have to make all the plays, but they need you to make the big plays, and that's what Cowan does.
Holcomb. Norton gives up the dribble. 10 to get off a shot now for the Greyhounds. Holcomb on the block there with 5 to get off a shot. Trying to take the baseline. Blocked by Bruno. Fernando all over the place defensively. Cowan stepping back for a 3. Launching. Got it. Well, you're right about the big shots. All of a sudden, he's got 17.
Well, wait, what great patience.
And there was a little bit of a deadly assassin there, too, stepping back for that 3.
Yep.
Jones launching. Well, he can't answer, and a whistle. That's going to go the other way. The foul will go against the Greyhounds.
Bruno Fernando, it's tough to fool him inside, and Holcomb gets past, but Fernando just too quick. And then that allows Maryland to get out and go. And Cowan with the fake steps past Champion and just buries it. That sure takes the heart out of a comeback.
He had gotten inside 10. Cowan 3 out of 3 from three-point land. Ayala will be at the line with 8:20 to go. Freshman has played about 29 minutes a game for Mark Turgeon. A Thursday in BTN. Ethan Happ leading the Badgers onto the floor in Madison to battle Savannah State. Big Ten basketball Thursday at 8 right here on BTN and the Fox Sports app. And knocks that one down. It's back to 20. Ayala with a good night. 9 points, 4 rebounds, and 5 assists.
Maryland's had a lot of really solid performances.
Yeah, offensively and defensively. Many difficult shots by Andrew Kostecka tonight because Maryland has made it difficult. Boy, shredding that defense. What a play there by Cowan for 2, and he'll be at the line.
That's vintage Cowan. You get in traffic and you score. And Anthony Cowan, we've talked about the fact that he can really score in transition. Here he gets through 3 guys and gets fouled, but he's also somebody who can make the 3. That's just outstanding. He continues to be hot.
With us, this was a fairly tight game about 3 or 4 minutes ago.
Well, it was 61-51, and since then Maryland's gone on a 15-3 run, and during that run, Anthony Cowan has scored 10 of the points. Get a look what he did in the first half and in the second half, but in the last couple of minutes, he's just taken over the game.
And that's really since the timeout by Coach Mark Turgeon. It's almost as if Cowan said, I've got this.
Well, that's what he does.
And at the line with 7:56 to go, and knocks it in to make it 77-54. And he's got his 10th career 20-point game. He also had 5 rebounds and 5 assists.
Well, Dave, you guys in baseball talk all the time about clutch players, clutch hitters. Well, he's a clutch player. That's no question about that.
Maryland at 8-2. The losses very close by 5 to Virginia and just 2 to Purdue. You do have 1 win in Big Ten play in the bank, and that was against Penn State. Champion with 10 to get off a shot. And it'll back out on him. We're taking the baseline. Denied. And a pass tipped several times and picked off by Ayala. Oh, look at this. And a slam by Smith. Spectacular play by Maryland.
What a great job by Smith to run the court, because Fernando and Cowan were already down there. Smith could have taken the play off, but he didn't. And that's good for us. Bad for Loyola, good for us.
I have to agree. And a rebound to make it 79-54. Smith with a vicious dunk.
But he got up the court. He didn't have to do that, but he did.
Ayala with a kick out. Cowan with a swing. Wiggins the 3. Fernando there to lay it up and in. Well, that makes it a 17-0 run for the Terps. So putting the game on ice here with about 6.5 to go, it would feel.
Well, they stomped on the gas, didn't they?
Sure did. Nice speed underneath. And swatted away by Fernando. One of the top shot blockers in the country, Ayala. What a tough angle to make it in.
Swatted it away, but Maryland recovered the ball, and they're able to get out and go in transition. And when this Maryland team can play in transition, they're really tough. That was the 4th block by Fernando.
And it seems like every one of them he's kept in play, pretty much. So we take another look at this play, a BTN standout presented by Auto Owners Insurance.
And the ball is tipped, and the guy under the basket, number 25, Jalen Smith, he's trailing the play, and he just keeps coming. And what great vision by Ayala. Fernando is actually under the basket. He throws the ball behind Fernando to Smith for a spectacular play. Smith has done just about everything you can ask him to do tonight.
Well, he's fun to watch. 18 points, 7 rebounds. He's had a couple of blocks, spectacular dunks to make it 83-54.
He's also been credited with a steal in the game. He's made 5 out of 6 free throws. What a performance.
And just a freshman. Baltimore Sun Player of the Year, McDonald's All-American. And 2-time Maryland Gatorade Player of the Year in high school. So 6 minutes to play. Champion will launch.
That's just a great job by Sorrell Smith to fight through the screen and actually put some pressure on Champion.
Cowan really has been the catalyst, threw that one away. And Norton with a pick. Scott getting inside. Tough shot for two.
Nice move. Sometimes Anthony Cowan is not sufficiently risk adverse. Sometimes he tries to make spectacular plays. That time the easy play was just throw the ball back up to a wide open Sorrell Smith at the top, but he tried to make a spectacular play.
Cowan, yes, a three-pointer. He rings one in.
Of course.
That might be my favorite piece of analysis all season long. Not sufficiently risk averse. I love that.
You got to evaluate the risk reward, and Cowan sometimes.
Casteca's three with an answer.
He's a good player.
Yes.
I mean, he has battled all night. He's had guys in his face all night, but he's kept playing.
Leading the Patriot League in scoring. He's going to be tough for them all season long. Smith, heavy traffic, but two more.
That was a good play by Smith because I think he was surprised by the pass and had to recover.
Casteca quickly on the other end with a triple.
He's had very few open opportunities, and that was one of them.
He's got 18. So up there around his average of 20. 13 of them have come in the second half. And he was really the guy who brought them back for a while.
Nice play.
The tip up and in. Nicely done by Maryland and Ricky Lindo. Hart to the other end for two.
Suddenly we're going up and down, and we see guys making really nice plays. Cowan missed that basket, but it was a good cut by Anthony Cowan.
Now Maryland making a run at 100 points tonight. Well on their way as Ayala banks in two.
Cowan almost stole the inbounds pass.
92 points for the Terps. And Hart, you're right. It's racehorse basketball here. This is not necessarily what we've had all night.
No.
If you're just joining us. And 3.5 minutes to go, and Maryland with 92 to Loyola's 66.
Loyola has played this zone defense a couple of times tonight. It hadn't really bothered Maryland.
And they took a bump and made the shot and a timeout. Mark Turgeon is going to get some of his bench guys in. And we will take the timeout as well. 3:19 remaining, and Maryland up comfortably here at home.
Guys, and it's Jalen Smith. He's done about everything you can ask him to do. Here in the first half, he doesn't get the basket, but he handles the ball all the way up the court, runs the court, gets a dunk right here, pulls up and shoots the jump shot when they're trying to play in on Bruno Fernando. The blocked shot. He's rebounded the ball. He's blocked shots. He's run the court. He's made jump shots. He's done everything for the Terrapins.
Well, one of the most sought-after players out of high school. Part of a great recruiting class from Mark Turgeon, the top 10 recruiting class. 6 freshmen. He is one bright star and is going to be an awful lot of fun to watch in the Big Ten season to come. The rest of this season, 94-68. So Mark Turgeon able to go heavy to his bench here. Ayala with a shot clock down to 11. Zemajic in now as well for the Terps. Shot clock at 5.
Oh, what a
Swing
pass.
in for Bender, and he lost the handle on it.
What a pass. And we talked about it.
Yeah, here it is. Jalen Smith, 20 points and 8 rebounds.
Man, a couple of block shots, a steal.
An impressive outing.
Hardworking and successful.
Yeah, to see him run the floor, go end to end, and actually in the first half bring the ball up as well.
I think Mark Turgeon is happy he can do it, but he would prefer not.
Yes.
You got other guys to bring the ball up the court.
Right. Hard for the jumper. Winds up in the hands of Scotty, can't connect. And a follow-up and in for 2.
Right, if you can't score from outside, go inside and score. Hart's a little guy, but he scrambled, got inside, and was able to get the basket.
So 2 minutes to go. keep it right here with Maryland in front 94-70. And coming up next on BTN, the doubleheader continues. It'll be the Gophers taking on North Florida. The action tips off right here on BTN and the Fox Sports app. And looking ahead now for Maryland, with a win tonight, they would improve to 9-2. Here's what is to come, and that is going to be an absolute war coming up at Seton Hall.
Well, this is a very, very tough schedule, particularly to play a Seton Hall team coming off your exam break. That is not an easy thing. And that Radford team might think, okay, that's a night off, except Radford went to the NCAA tournament last year, and they beat Texas at Texas this year. And then, of course, you get back into the heart of Big Ten play.
Nebraska, at Rutgers, and at Minnesota.
And at Rutgers is no picnic. That Rutgers team, they may be inconsistent, but they play hard, and I think they're capable of winning against any team in the Big Ten, particularly at Rutgers. And then Minnesota is another. The Big Ten has had such success in the non-conference season. Minnesota's another one of those teams, 8-2. They're flying high right at the moment. So a really good effort, particularly in the later stages of the first half and the second half by Mark Turgeon's Terps. But that schedule they have coming up is really, really tough.
At one point, this became a 10-point game fairly late into the second half, and that's when Turgeon called a timeout, really put the basketball in the hand of Anthony Cowan Jr., and he hit several threes and made some great passes, and all of a sudden you looked up and it was a 24-point game.
And each team has now cleared the bench.
Cowan with 23. Talk about Jalen Smith with 20 along with 8 rebounds. Three-pointer won't fall for Tomajic. Ayala's had a good game as well. 13 points, 6 rebounds, and Dan also 7 assists.
I think Ayala is a key for Maryland. I think one of the reasons that, and I'm not saying he lost the game, but he did not have a good game against Purdue. And I think particularly when you get into Big Ten play, you're going to have a lot of these really tight, tough games. I think Ayala is a guy who has to play well. Doesn't have to make all the plays, but needs to make enough plays.
And you know, one of the things that his coach is going to talk about later is he only turned it over one time.
I just think he's really got a lot of potential.
Ayala, yet another freshman out of Wilmington, Delaware, and big minutes tonight. Was impressive.
Well, and Sorrell Smith came off the bench, particularly in that first half. He played a high number of minutes.
Yep.
Scored 10 points. Looked pretty good.
Sure did. 40 seconds to go here. Ramsey pushed it up there but misfired. Bench players getting an opportunity here down the stretch for Maryland. On the scoop and a foul. 32.6 to go, so Maryland will improve to 9-2 on the season. Loyola of Maryland will drop to 4-7. And soon enough, they'll be heading into Patriot League play, along with Bucknell, Holy Cross, Lehigh.
Well, this is a Loyola program that has really struggled over the last couple of years. And Tavares Hardy coming in, this is his first year. That he had a lot of guys. You just don't know what you have, and you're coming in, and maybe the players you have don't really fit your style. So he's trying to piece things together and just establish what he wants to do. But I'm telling you, the way they played today, if they can make some shots, they're tough to defend when they spread the court. And the reason that they're tough to defend is if they can make threes. If you don't have to guard them out there, then it's a little easier. But if they can make some three-point shots, then suddenly they're very difficult to defend.
And that's really what brought them back in the game, to cut it down to 10 with those threes, particularly by Kostecka, an up-and-down game. But you're thinking a Patriot League could continue to score 18 to 20 tonight. Final seconds here. And kicked out of play. It'll be back over to the Greyhounds. 11.4 seconds to play. So Maryland about to put this one into the win column. And exams tomorrow here on the Maryland campus. So the kids go back to work. And the final shot misfires for Loyola, and Maryland walks away with a 94-71 victory here tonight. Thanks so much for joining us this evening. Maryland in the win column, now 9-2 for the season as they defeat Loyola of Maryland. And certainly one of the big stars tonight was Anthony Cowan Jr. He did it all. That's it from the Xfinity Center. The Terps win it. Coming up next on BTN, the Minnesota Golden Gophers taking on North Florida. For Dan Bonner, our entire crew, I'm Dave O'Brien saying good night from College Park, Maryland.